Welcome back to Changing with the Tides, guys. It's a sad day when this is going to be the last episode of Season 3. But hopefully, if all goes well, we'll be back for Season 4. But that's still to be determined. So, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. It's kind of just going to be like a recap of what Season 3 was. But I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys. Mwah.
It's my lucky day. It's my lucky day. It's my lucky day.
So, what was Season 3? Season 3 consisted mostly of talking about everything related to all the Beatitudes, all 1 through 8 of them. And I think this past season went really well, and I got a lot of great feedback from it. So, it overall just went really well, and we talked about what each Beatitude was, what it meant, who it was, and ways we could live it out in our everyday lives. Now I'm going to go over some of the highlights and best examples of ways we can live the Beatitudes out in our everyday lives. So, praying to God and feeling that closeness with Him, whether it's for others or for yourself. So, like I've talked about many times on my channel or my show, feeling that closeness and oneness with God is so important. And just being able to talk to Him when you're down, when you're happy, when you're upset, when you're angry, when you're frustrated, when you're having the best day ever. Being able to talk to Him whenever is such a great thing to be able to, feeling to be able to do. So, that's that. Number 2, giving up your time to volunteer. Again, another great one. I personally love volunteering. I do way more volunteer projects right now than I do work projects, and honestly I'm super I love every single one of them, and I wouldn't change them for the world. So it shows that you are willing to give back and give up your time to help others, and that is such a fulfilling feeling. I love all the volunteer projects I do, teaching CCD, Camp Footprint. One of my favorite ones is definitely Camp Footprint. Honestly, can't talk about that enough. I love Camp Footprint with my whole being. And honestly, just helping out in general whenever I can. Last week? I think it was last week. It was either last week or the week before. No, it was last week. I went and helped. So a while back I had on my show my aunt and uncle, and they were talking about this project that they're doing that we'll talk about more in a second. But I went to go help them out with getting all the bags and all the stuff that they need to gather to take it down to the shelter. Or the pantry, not the shelter. So just being able to do little projects here and there, where it helps others out, is such a fulfilling feeling. It makes me feel so good, and I'm sure it makes those other people feel good as well. So that's number 2. Number 3, letting go of past problems and forgiving the people in our lives. So, example one that's popping up in my head right now. Letting go of grudges. Such an important one. Letting go of a grudge will not only set you free, but set whatever person you're struggling with free. So, for example, if you're angry at a friend, not necessary. I know it may seem beneficial at the time, but it's really not. It's only gonna, in the long run, bring you down and bring that other person down. So try, if you're not necessarily wanting to be friends with them, that's fine, but try to set them, make peace between the two of you before you let that friend go. So that's example 3. Now we're going to talk about the last example, which is doing things for others to make others feel good. So what does that mean? For example, volunteering, great one, great example. But other things as well, like holding the door open when you go to the gas station, or when you go to Wawa, or just wherever you can do hold the door open for someone. Maybe even the mall or Target. No, not Target. Target has automated doors. I don't know what I'm saying. But just helping others by holding the door open is such a great thing, because you're holding the door open for that person, and then that person would most likely potentially go on and do that for another person. And honestly, it's such a great thing to be able to help another person out. So that's example 1 for that one. The last example of ways we can live the Beatitudes out. The last example under this example that I want to talk about is paying for someone's coffee in this Starbucks line or paying for someone's drive-through or whatever. Just paying for someone something is so nice. And honestly, like, I think I talked about this story on here already, but I'll tell it again. Like, a couple years ago, I sent my dad out on my birthday because if you're a Starbucks Rewards member, they give you a free drink on your birthday, which is great. I love that. Literally every year since I become a member, that's like my big thing, that I go out and get Starbucks on my birthday. But well, not this past year, like 2020, but in 2019, I just broken my arm, and honestly, I was not feeling up to going out to Starbucks that day. So my dad was gonna go for me, and he got down to the Starbucks, and he like went to give my free reward, and here someone had already paid for the drink. So he used my reward on whatever person was behind him. And honestly, like, that's so nice. Honestly, that he came home and told me that story, and I like almost started crying. I loved that story. So it's just simple things like that, like pay it forward and do things to make yourself feel good, but make other people around you feel good as well. So now I'm going to talk about how I've had on a few very special guests this season. And we discussed a few different topics related to the Beatitudes. Some of the topics included a special project that I spoke of before about how my aunt and uncle were working on this thing. And it's honestly so special because this project is so great because it went from being a small peanut butter and jelly gathering where people gathered and they made peanut butter and jelly sandwiches to take down. I believe the program's called Branches. I think it's down in Rio Grande, New Jersey, if you want to look it up or you want to donate some food or whatever. But at first they just started making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and then taking these sandwiches down to Branches. And then slowly, I guess, throughout the course of the past several months or up to a year, I guess. Yeah, because after the pandemic started, they had to stop making the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So then they just start gathering all this food, like canned goods and pasta and like easy to make things, or maybe not pasta, but like, you know what I mean, like cereal and easy to make foods, and started gathering all this food and taking it down to Branches. And now it's become like this huge thing throughout my parish, and people gather or people come and drop this food off, and then they compile it and like organize it. So one car takes we'll say like the food, and then another car takes like paper products, and then another car takes other stuff. So this just is nice because it brings the parish together, and while also helping out our society and our community, which I personally love and adore. Again, volunteering. But I just personally love being able to have that available and have that time to go and help with these projects, or this project I should say, because like I said, it started out as a small peanut butter and jelly gathering, and now it's this huge thing that like everyone likes to take part in. Like, I know back in maybe like February or March, my sister and dad and I drove up and we got some food from my grandparents and dropped it off to my aunt and uncle, and they were so thankful. Like, they were so appreciative of this food to be donated to Branches. And like, I think Branches then goes and gives it to like people out in the community who don't necessarily have a shelter or have a home or need the food. So yeah, it's such a rewarding feeling. I 10 out of 10 recommend doing something to make yourself feel good, but also those around you. So if you're interested in how you can get involved with this project, I will see if I can link some of the information on how to get involved in the description. But yes, that is that. So overall, this season went really well, and like I said, I had a ton of great feedback. So thank you for all tuning in, and I will see you guys hopefully next season. Bye, guys. Mwah.
It's my lucky day.